All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. The baseball amateur draft is 1 week away. Who are the Giants going to take with the 13th pick overall? We will discuss that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go get some brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video is also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue down in Pacific Grove, California. Call Anthony Catania at 831-321-5264. All right. The baseball amateur draft is coming up, and the Giants have the 13th pick overall. Now, they did sign a couple free agents who turned down qualifying offers, and that would be left-handed pitcher Blake Snell and third baseman Matt Chapman. So because of those signings, the Giants forfeited their second and third round draft choices, leaving them with only 18 selections in the 20-round draft, which will start on July the 14th and go through July the 16th during All-Star Week in Arlington, Texas. Now, the Giants hold the 13th pick in the first round. Then they're going to have to wait till the fourth round to make their next pick. So they pick 13. They don't pick again until 116. So it does kind of limit, their access to the best players in the country. Their amateur scouting director is Michael Holmes. He says the Giants are doing their normal due diligence in case some of their targets end up falling down the draft board when the draft is held. Now, as I said, the baseball draft is also slotted, so the Giants have the 13th pick overall. The bonus slot for that, the bonus amount for that slot is $5.2 million. So the Giants' total bonus pool is $7.5 million. And Holmes says, despite the fact they don't have a second and third round pick, it really hasn't changed their approach. They're going to evaluate everybody on their board. And, because they don't have, two of their top picks, they're going to have a smaller bonus pool. They'll have the fifth lowest bonus pool in the majors at $7.5 million, down from $9.9 million in 2023 when they had the 16th pick overall. So the Giants have gotten creative in the past with their pool allotments. In 2020, they drafted Kyle Harrison in the third round out of De La Salle, and they bought him out of his UCLA commit by giving him first-round money. They gave him $2.4 million signing bonus to entice him to say, you know what, I'm not going to go to UCLA and kind of forego that and turn pro. And he did it. They saved money in one area, they spent it on Harrison in another area, and they got a guy who's now in their starting rotation by paying him over slot. Now, the Giants have leaned a lot towards college players in their first 5 drafts under Michael Holmes and, of course, Farhan Zaidi, who's the president of baseball operations for the Giants. They did use their first two 2023 picks on a pair of high school infielders. They took Bryce Eldridge, who's going to play in the Futures game this year for the Giants, and maybe is not that far away, and shortstop Walker Martin. Those were their high school picks early on. So, it's funny. Everybody's got a different view of who the Giants are going to pick in this draft at 13th overall. MLB's Pipeline's latest draft suggests the Giants could go with Cam Caminiti, who's the cousin of the late Ken Caminiti, who played at San Jose State, Bay Area native. Cam Caminiti is a left-handed pitcher from Saguaro High School in Arizona, and he's ranked as the number 15 prospect in this draft. Other possibilities for the Giants include East Carolina right-handed pitcher Trey Yesavage, I believe, Yesavage, Florida State third baseman Cam Smith, Oklahoma State outfielder Carson Bengi, North Carolina outfielder Vance Honeycutt, LSU third baseman Tommy White. They're all listed as potential Giants picks at 13. Now, last year, their first-round pick, as I said, was Bryce Eldridge. The year before that, the Giants went left-handed pitcher Reggie Crawford, who's now at AAA Sacramento. In 2021, they took right-handed pitcher Will Bednar. out of Mississippi State. He's now at Double-A Richmond. 2020, their first-round pick was Patrick Bailey. We all know where he is. He's in the majors with the Giants. In 2019, they took Hunter Bishop out of Arizona State. He's in AAA right now with the Giants. So little hit, little miss, one major hit, and Bailey, a lot of TBA or TBD, to be determined going forward as far as the success or failure of the Giants' draft choices. All right, let's go through again who some of the options are this year for the Giants. And I'll go with the guy that I think they ought to go with. And I'm just looking at all the different projections. So USA Today, we'll take them first. They're projecting the Giants to take Vance Honeycutt, a center fielder out of the University of North Carolina. Now, a lot of people feel that Honeycutt is the best defensive player in the entire draft. He's got Gold Glove tools in center field. The Giants drafted him out of high school. They drafted him in the 20th round in 2021, and he didn't sign with them and instead went and played at North Carolina. So if they draft him again, this time in the first round, that'll be the second time they've drafted Vance Honeycutt. He did have 28 home runs this year for North Carolina. So he's an interesting player. He's an elite athlete. They list him as on a scale of 80 being the highest. They say he's an 80 defensive player in center field. They say he's an 80 runner. They give him as a 70 grade on power. There's a little bit too much swing and miss in his game, but he's an elite athlete. So Vance Honeycutt is who at least the USA Today says the Giants are going to draft 13th overall. All right, let's go to Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report says it's Cam Caminiti, the left-handed pitcher from Saguaro High School in Arizona, who was a high school pitcher, also a two-way player in high school, a hitter as well, but he's thought to be a pitcher at the pro level. He is a kid who reclassified, so technically he should be a junior in high school. Instead, he's a senior in high school, so he's even a year younger than most of the players in this draft. He's considered to be the number one high school pitcher in the class, and there's a lot of talk that the Giants have been all over Cam Caminiti. So there's also speculation that Cam Caminiti may go to Detroit at 11, 2 picks in front of the Giants, so he may not be there when they pick. But if he is, I think Cam Caminiti is a guy that is very likely to be their pick. CBS Sports says Christian Moore, the second baseman from Tennessee, who had an amazing College World Series. I mean, this was a guy who just absolutely took off late in the year. Now, he played with Billy Amick, who the Giants supposedly also like, a third baseman from Tennessee. And at the beginning of the year, Amick was thought to be the higher prospect. But Christian Moore has absolutely raked this year. He had 375. He had 34 home runs. He's got premium exit velocity. He was the standout player in the College World Series. They're saying the Red Sox, though, may take him 1 pick in front of the Giants at number 12 overall. But there's no doubt Christian Moore can flat out hit, and he might be one of the best hitters in this entire draft, college or pro, or college or high school, I should say. So Christian Moore is one of the guys that they could take at 13. I think the Giants' mindset is going to be, of the guys that are supposed to go in the top 10, which of them, for whatever reason, surprisingly falls out of the top 10. If one of these guys that's supposed to go top 10 falls out of the top 10, I think the Giants are hoping one of those guys falls right in their lap. According to a lot of the things I'm reading too, the Giants lean heavily on the analytical models to make their decisions in the amateur draft, which is also interesting. Now, ESPN has the Giants drafting Nick Kurtz, the first baseman from Wake Forest. And this is the guy that I think I would want if I were the Giants. They're saying he could go as high as number 4 to the A's, but the A's are also hoping that maybe, Travis Bazzana, the second baseman from Oregon State, who they say could go 1 or 2. They're saying if he falls to 4, the A's may take that second baseman over Nick Kurtz. But the A's have been all over Kurtz all spring. He's been heavily tied to them all spring long. So they pick 4th overall. He could wind up going 4th overall to the A's. The comp that I keep hearing with Kurtz is Anthony Rizzo. He's considered an Anthony Rizzo type offensive player. He holds Wake Forest's walk record He had 61 career home runs, but he walked 189 times in 164 games there for the Deacons. And you look at his year in 2023, he hit 353, 24 home runs, 69 RBIs. He's a Pennsylvania native. He came back in 2024, and his numbers weren't quite as good. He dropped from 353 to 306. He dropped from 24 home runs to 22, 69 RBIs to 57. But he's got 30 home run pro potential. The belief is that he fell this year, or his numbers slid a little bit this year because he didn't have the same level of protection in his lineup there at Wake Forest. But they're saying he's got the best feel of the strike zone of any hitter in all of college baseball. To me, this is the guy for the Giants. If they can somehow get Kurtz, I think Kurtz is the guy that I would want. 6'5", 235 pounds. He's from Lancaster, PA. He plays first base. He went to Baylor boarding school. He was the number 10 high school recruit in the state of Pennsylvania his senior year. He was all-state as a senior. And then he steps right onto Wake Forest's campus, and he was awesome as a freshman. 338, 15 home runs, 56 RBIs, third team All-ACC as a freshman. Comes out as a sophomore, hit 353, 24 homers, 63 walks, 76 runs, 69 RBIs, first team All-ACC. Had a strong junior year as well. The guy's got tremendous size at 6'5", 235. He's got great contact skills. He can hit the ball out foul pole to foul pole. He's got opposite field power, high baseball IQ. This kid never gets outside the strike zone. He rarely expands the zone. He's got a major league ready body. He's got an elite batting eye. He's got average defense at first base. He lacks speed. I mean, he's 6'5", 235. He's a power hitter. He's a first base DH type. But to me, that's the guy. That's the guy. If you're the Giants and Nick Kurtz is there at 13, this is a guy that I think could rifle through your system at a really fast speed, and I think he's a big league hitter for sure. Now, the Giants are tied to some other guys as well. They also like Billy Amick from Tennessee. They like the right-handed pitcher Trey Yasavage from East Carolina, who's got 4+ pitches, and they like Seaver King, who's an outfielder for Wake Forest, who played with Kurtz there at Wake Forest, and he's got speed. He was a Division II transfer from Wingate, Seaver King, free swinger, but tremendous speed. And a lot of people say they make the comp with Seaver King to Mookie Betts. So let's talk about these guys for a second. Seaver King's a shortstop center fielder for Wake. He's an excellent athlete. As I said, he played at Division II Wingate and then transferred to Wake, and he's drawing the Mookie Betts comps. He's played second, he's played short, he's played third, center, left, right. He's got great bat speed. His bat speed is his best tool. 30 extra base hits in his first season in the ACC. That opened a ton of eyes. The downside for Seaver King is he chases too much out of the zone. 31.9% chase percentage, 93 mile an hour average exit velocity, though. The guy hits the ball really, really hard. So excellent athlete. A little swing and miss there. Not sure exactly what position he's going to wind up playing. Yesavage from East Carolina has got 4+ pitches. He had 145 strikeouts and 93 and a third innings pitch, 2.03 ERA, mid-90s fastball, really nasty splitter. Only downside on him is they say he walks a little a few too many guys, so he needs to improve his command. And then Amick, Amick's a third baseman who had 306 with 23 home runs in 65 games. Another guy, 94.6 average exit velocity. So he hits the ball really, really hard. But he did strike. He whiffed at a 29.3% percentage, which is a little high, and then chased out of the zone 30.9% of the time. That's a little high. So I think he's probably going to go further down the board. And one other name to kind of remember for the Giants, it's kind of an interesting one. Braden Montgomery, the outfielder for Texas A&M, really talented hitter. I mean, this kid hit 322, 27 home runs in 61 games, broke his ankle in the postseason, hits the ball really hard, averaged 98.7 exit velo, only whiffed 25.6% of the time on pitches. He's got great bat-to-ball skills and plus power. And I think there's a very good chance that Braden Montgomery could be there to Texas A&M when the Giants pick at 13. So that's kind of the list. I mean, you look at the list. I mean, I would say USA Today says Vance Honeycutt, best center fielder, one of the great athletes in this draft, Gold Glove center fielder out of North Carolina. Bleacher Report says Cam Caminiti, and Jonathan Mayo says the Giants have been all over Cam Caminiti, who's a two-way player at this point, and maybe he'll stay as a two-way player, but he's a power left-handed pitcher from Saguaro High School in Arizona. He is a high school kid. He's considered the number one high school pitcher. Then there's CBS Sports saying Christian Moore, the second baseman from Tennessee, who is a awesome hitter. I mean, this might be one of the best hitters in the entire draft. 375, 34 home runs, great in the College World Series. I don't know if he's going to stay at second base, but CBS Sports says Giants are going Christian Moore. ESPN says they're going Nick Kurtz from Wake Forest, the first baseman who could go fourth overall to the A's, but also could fall to 13. And a lot of people say he's Anthony Rizzo. So there you go. There's other people saying Seaver King, Billy Amick, some of the names mentioned as well. But based on what I'm hearing, I would say it's probably either Cam Caminiti, the high school pitcher from Arizona. But if Nick Kurtz, who's supposed to go top 5, maybe if he falls to 13, I think that's probably the no-brainer pick. I think Kurtz could be in the middle of your lineup with Eldridge and Elliot Ramos and Luciano and these guys. He could be up in a very short amount of time. He's got tremendous bat speed. I've seen him hit home runs out down the left field line. I've seen him hit home runs out to left center, right field line. The guy's got tremendous power, and all he ever did was play and hit. Highly recruited out of high school, all-state as a freshman at Wake Forest. Hit every year. He was at Wake Forest. Really knows the strike zone. Tremendous power, tremendous plate coverage. This guy looks very advanced. I mean, to me, Kurtz looks like, if you said, give me somebody that, everybody's got a different comparison. To me, he looks a little Freddie Freeman-ish, a little Jim Tomei. Tomei was a big power hitter who really had great ability to go to the opposite field. Kurtz looks the same. To me, he looks like a 6'5", 235 Jim Tomei, or maybe, a slightly more powerful, less fluid Freddie Freeman. But that's the guy that I would go with if I were the Giants. Go with Kurtz. If you can get a player like that to fall to you, and you go Nick Kurtz at 13, that would be my direction there for the Giants. All right, give me your thoughts below in the comments below. Love to hear what you think. Who should the Giants take 13th overall in the baseball amateur draft? I'm saying Nick Kurtz, first baseman out of Wake Forest. What says you? I'd love your comments below. Hit like and subscribe. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for sponsoring the Krug Show, and thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video, and thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.